Alright, so let's talk Smash speculation. Recently we got this over on Twitter, and it's all about the 1-year anniversary of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Essentially, there's going to be a Spirit event on December 6th, which is, once again, the 1-year anniversary of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and they posted this really cool picture that is actually of all the characters new to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or at least characters that weren't in Super Smash Bros. Wii U 3DS. So characters like Ice Climbers are also here, as they didn't appear in that game, but they had been in past Smash games. So this is basically all the new characters with all of our DLC included as well. And if you look really closely at Inkling, there's a really cool little Easter egg. Inkling's eye actually has the like flaming Smash symbol in it, which was in Inkling's reveal trailer. Okay, so pretty cool. We're going to get a Spirit event on the 1-year anniversary of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Which probably means we're not getting any kind of Nintendo Direct on the 1-year anniversary of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and probably not a new character reveal, which gives all the more evidence towards us getting a character reveal at the Game Awards, which is a week later on December 12th. Now, that isn't exactly a new idea or anything. People have been speculating that we'd get a character revealed at the Game Awards pretty much since we got Joker revealed at the Game Awards last year. People have been talking about, hey, maybe we'll get another character revealed at the next Game Awards, and it's looking more and more likely like that will be the case. We've had the Game Awards tweet about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and we've had Sakurai tweet about the Game Awards, so yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody is on board that that is most likely where we'll get the next character revealed. We're also supposed to get this Fighters Pass done by February, so getting the final character for the Fighters Pass revealed in the near future here, and then released in February, it makes sense. The timing for the Game Awards is actually perfect. Okay, so with the when out of the way for the next DLC character, it now becomes a question of who. And this has changed a lot since getting Terry, the 4th DLC character in the Fighters Pass. We've had a lot of characters become quote-unquote frontrunners in the lead for who this 5th DLC character might be. What keeps happening is a character will come up as the most likely character for our 5th DLC Fighters Pass character, and then basically one of two people are shooting these down. Generally, it's Sabi or Vergeben, whatever. I'm not going to do the German accent every time, so Vergeben, that's what I call them, whatever. Those two people have pretty much been shooting down everybody who's come up as the most likely character. It's been happening since Terry was revealed. We'll get a character that seems really likely, some evidence or like leaks are backing this character, and then Sabi or Vergeben will step in and say, no, that's not who the 5th character is. So I want to go over all those deconfirmations today. And just on the subject, deconfirmation I guess isn't even actually a word. Like, we use it all the time in the Smash speculation community, but I guess deconfirmation isn't actually a word. I think disconfirmation is, but whatever. I'm using deconfirmation. So I'm going to go over a retrospective of all the deconfirmations that have happened since Terry was revealed. All the characters that seem like they might be the 5th DLC character for the Fighters Pass and then got shot down, and that deconfirmation, and to show where we're at right now with speculation in the week lead up here to the Game Awards, when we'll most likely finally get that character revealed. I want to preface all this deconfirmation talk with a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm going to go over how Sabi and Vergeben are deconfirming stuff, at least to my understanding. And I also just want to point out, before we get into any of this, that it's really hard to get the order of characters right for this. We've had leakers get that wrong. Vergeben thought that the Square DLC character would be the first one revealed, and we got Joker. This sort of thing seems to keep happening, and it's just really hard to guess the order of DLC. I mean, just picture, if you're some leaker, you have some connection with some company, you hear a character name, you assume that character is going to be next, and then sometimes that's not the case. It's hard to have the full picture for Smash because it involves so many different companies. It can involve a company that, you might not even be aware is going to be involved in Smash, like SNK with Terry. If you had no idea that was coming, and you'd heard some other company, some company that's actually involved with Smash already, you might think that character's next instead. So it's just really, really hard to get the order right. And basically, Sabi and Vergeben are only deconfirming who the 5th DLC character will be, not who further DLC will be. They're not really deconfirming characters entirely for Smash, just characters that aren't going to be DLC number 5 for the Fighters Pass. But like I'm stressing here, it's really hard to know the order, so they could be wrong. It's entirely possible that one of these deconfirmations was incorrect, and that character ends up being our 5th DLC fighter. Regardless, it's pretty much the only thing we have to go on, these deconfirmations, so it's worth going over them. And then lastly, before we get into this retrospective, I just want to go over a bit about Sabi and Vergeben themselves and the difference between the two of them from my own perspective, because I can really only give you guys my own perspective here. So I talk to Sabi. I talk to Sabi all the time. Sabi has a source who told us about Terry. Okay, this source heard another name as well, and that source believes that Terry and the name that they heard are the last two characters in the Fighter's Pass. They have not told Sabi who this other character they heard is. What they are doing, though, is whenever a character's name gets really popular within speculation, like a leak comes out for them or people are just talking a lot about a character, Sabi's source will shoot that character down if it's not the name that they heard. So that's where Sabi's deconfirmations are coming from. Sabi has also told me who this Sabi's source person is, and they are a very credible person. So I do trust them. Again, the order that they have could be wrong. They just heard two names. They heard Terry and another name. They're assuming that name is DLC number 5. They could be wrong. Maybe that name's happening later down the line. We really don't know for sure, but that's what we have to go off of. Sabi's source saying the other name they heard is probably DLC number 5, and then shooting down names that aren't that character when that name comes up too much in speculation. So Sabi is not aware of who DLC 5 is. I'm not aware of who DLC 5 is. Only Sabi's source is, and they're basically just deconfirming characters. That's how Sabi is deconfirming stuff. I trust Sabi's source because, once again, they are a very credible person, but again, the order is tough to guess, so even they are not infallible. They could be wrong here about the order, so yeah, just be aware of that. Now, as for Vergeben, I do not know how they are deconfirming stuff. I don't know Vergeben's sources. I don't know if Vergeben has actually heard who DLC 5 is or not, but basically it seems like they're doing the same thing Sabi is. They're deconfirming stuff, but not confirming any characters. I have no idea what their connections is. I have no idea how they're doing that, so I put a little less faith myself personally in what Vergeben's saying. Now, Vergeben was excellent for base game Smash. Knowing stuff like even the name Erdrick way before Hero came out, stuff like that, Vergeben definitely has information, can have stuff for the DLC. It's completely possible. But because I don't know anything about Vergeben's sources or the way that they're deconfirming stuff, I just give it a little less weight than I do Sabi's stuff because I understand what's happening with Sabi. Again, even with Sabi, though, the person that they're getting the information from, Sabi's source, as credible as they are, they could still have the order wrong. I really don't know for sure. Okay, with all that said, let's jump into a retrospective of what's happened with all these deconfirmations. Okay, so let's start at the beginning of when we started talking about DLC number 5 for the Fighter's Pass, and that was actually when Terry was revealed. So right before Terry got revealed, or really when Terry kind of got leaked in the whole SNK copyright thing and everything, right before that, Ryuhei Hayabusa popped up as a potential 4th DLC character. This was coming from I Am Shifty, and then later, Brew Elfin was also talking about Ryuhei Hayabusa showing up at some point in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. However, instead we got Terry, and afterwards it was still like, well, maybe Ryuhei Hayabusa is just number 5. Again, like I've been saying, it's really hard to know the order, so it was kind of a benefit of the doubt thing. Even though Ryuhei Hayabusa didn't show up, maybe he's showing up next. Maybe he's DLC number 5. So initially here, Ryuhei Hayabusa was the frontrunner for who we thought DLC number 5 was going to be, until Sabi's source basically shot it down. This was also around the same time that Crash Bandicoot started being talked about. I think Crash was starting to kind of rival Ryuhei Hayabusa as a potential 5th DLC character, and that's when Sabi's source first spoke up and told Sabi it's not Ryuhei Hayabusa or Crash Bandicoot. Sabi said, I am not leaning towards Ryuhei Hayabusa or Crash for Fighter Pass number 5. I'm not deconfirming them for Fighter 5, just considering them very unlikely based on some new private developments. I can't share anything else right now. Eventually, this turned into a full-on deconfirmation, and this was coming from Sabi's source. Vergeben also said Ryuhei Hayabusa is not the 5th character. Now, do keep in mind, once again, that these are just deconfirming characters for who DLC number 5 will be. Crash Bandicoot, Ryuhei Hayabusa, they could happen later down the line still. That is totally up in the air. This is just about who we think DLC number 5 is going to be. At some point, and this may have even predated Ryuhei Hayabusa being deconfirmed as the 5th DLC character, there was some talk about Overwatch potentially coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was all because of this Overwatch Switch case, which did eventually end up being Overwatch coming to the Switch. However, Sabi said this about potentially getting an Overwatch character. Okay, so I've been in a group chat for ages with an ambassador. PapaGenos has referenced him ages ago, only in the group with like 10 people. Early this morning, he posted no Crash, no Tracer. Tracer, of course, referring to Tracer from Overwatch. Now, I think it's important to note that this Nintendo Ambassador source is actually a different source than the very credible source that we just keep referring to as Sabi's source, who's deconfirming most of these characters, but there you go, Tracer is most likely not our 5th DLC character. So with Ryu Hayabusa dethroned as the most likely 5th DLC character, the next character to really step up was Doom Guy. We had that whole thing with Bethesda talking to Nintendo about Smash at some point. There was like an interview that said that, and so it seemed like Doom Guy might be our 5th DLC character. And then we had the Kako Demon and Malo Mihat costume leak. This leak seemed really good, and actually when Sabi went to this very credible source and asked them if this one was real or not, instead of just outright deconfirming it, they said they wanted to go check on things, probably because it just looked so real. Eventually, however, Sabi's source did get back to us and said, alright, so clarification on that Mii leak. The source who told me that Fighter Pass 5 isn't Crash or Ryu has told me that if those Miis are real, they aren't related to who Fighter Pass 5 is. Essentially deconfirming Geno or Doom Guy for the Fighter Pass 5 spot. Shortly after, Vergeben said the same thing. It's not Doom Guy or Geno, it's not Ryu Hayabusa or Scorpion either, but I already said that. And yeah, Vergeben did deconfirm Scorpion, though honestly I can't even tell if that's a joke deconfirmation or not, because Mortal Kombat is banned in Japan, so getting a Mortal Kombat character in Smash seems very, very unlikely anyway. After all that, there was a short-lived rumor about Dante from Devil May Cry potentially being our 5th DLC character. Sabi wrote, I can corroborate that I did in fact tell PapaGenos what he said in his server. After corroborating with the reliable source who's heard a name for fighter number 5, Dante is not it. Thankfully, this rumor got likely squashed early on. After that, the character that seemed extremely likely was Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. Lloyd got a Mii costume in Super Smash Bros. 4, and we actually haven't gotten any of the Namco Mii costumes back, so getting that costume upgraded, getting a Tales of rep, probably being Lloyd Irving. I think Sakurai has even said in the past that if he was going to rep Tales of, he'd rep them with Lloyd Irving. Seemed really, really likely, until Sabi's source deconfirmed that one as well. Sabi said, by the way, yes, it seems like nobody has heard of Lloyd as Fighter Pass 5. Could be post-Fighter Pass, though. I'll probably stop deconfirming now, as I don't want to just keep looking into individual characters, and we're getting very close to the Game Awards anyway. Meanwhile, Vergeben started deconfirming entire companies. Fighter 5 isn't from Ubisoft or Falcom. On the topic of niche, I can tell you another character that the next Smash DLC fighter isn't. It isn't Nippon Ichi Software related. With Lloyd Irving deconfirmed and Vergeben going around deconfirming whole companies, people started really speculating about Namco specifically, mostly because of those Mii costumes. It is a little strange we haven't gotten any Namco Mii costumes back, whereas I believe all the other companies involved in Smash have had some Mii costumes at some point so far. Even Capcom got some Mega Man ones alongside Banjo. So it seemed like Namco was the odd man out here, and those Mii costumes could be returning with whoever the 5th DLC fighter was, and that they'd probably be from Namco. With Lloyd Irving deconfirmed, one other Mii costume that could get upgraded was Heihachi from Tekken, so people were thinking about that. Also, Dark Souls seemed potentially likely as a Namco rep that could be announced at the Video Game Awards. But the character that started gaining a lot of ground was actually Nightmare from Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur has had a lot of crossovers in the past and has even had Link involved, so a Nightmare reveal trailer where he fights Link could be really cool. I'm a big fan of Soul Calibur. I would absolutely love to get Nightmare in the game. I think he'd be an excellent rep. He's also the type of character that I can tell how he would play in Smash. Like, I've played him in Soul Calibur. I feel like just the way he does, like he hits stuff with the side of his sword and he kind of like flings people up with it and stuff like that. I could really see an excellent moveset potential for Nightmare. Or even like a Siegfried Nightmare combo character or something like that could be really cool. The idea of getting Nightmare in Smash was really starting to gain some ground until Vergeben posted this. The next character isn't from Bandai Namco or Level 5 either. So that would mean no Nightmare, no Cosmos, no Professor Layton. Sabi wrote, I can't verify Verge's latest post deconfirming Namco and Level 5 for Fighter Pass 5. I just haven't gotten specifics on those yet. Though, given he's said some of the same as me lately, I wouldn't doubt it much. I'll try and look into it. Now, like I explained before, I understand where Sabi is getting these deconfirmations from. They have a credible source who has heard a fighter name and is just deconfirming which characters it isn't when they get too popular in speculation to try to kind of steer us on the right track without just giving away who it is. As for Vergeben, I have no idea how they're deconfirming stuff, so to go ahead and deconfirm entire companies, I just don't know how much faith I can put in that, but if we're to believe these people, that's where we're at with speculation pretty much. A few other things worth noting: when that Munson leak about Gordon was popular, Vergeben actually deconfirmed Gordon as a character entirely, not just the leak itself. Vergeben wrote, "I can't either, but it seems that I have to. The fifth character is not Gordon." Also important of note, Sabi deconfirmed a Phoenix Wright leak, but did not deconfirm Phoenix Wright the character itself. There was this fake direct message going around. It was saying Phoenix Wright would be revealed at the Game Awards, but that direct message turned out to be fake. This does not mean, however, that Phoenix Wright is deconfirmed, just that that leak was deconfirmed. And then one final deconfirmation that isn't coming from Sabi or Vergeben. It's coming from Nintendo themselves. Last week, we got a Resident Evil Spirit event, and if you believe spirits deconfirm characters, especially a spirit event that happens right before most of us are anticipating a character will be revealed, then yeah, Resident Evil is also out of the running. It would be very odd to have a Resident Evil Spirit event right before announcing a Resident Evil character, as those characters come with a spirit board of their own. It would be a really weird way to do this. More on this in a second, but just at face value, this is a deconfirmation of Resident Evil. Okay, so if we are to believe all of those deconfirmations, let's take a look at everyone who's deconfirmed. Crash Bandicoot, Doomslayer from Doom, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, Tracer from Overwatch, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Dante from Devil May Cry, Gino from Super Mario RPG, Gordon Freeman from Half-Life, any character from Ubisoft, any character from Falcom, any character from Nippon Ichi Software, any Tales of character, any character from Namco, any Resident Evil character. Now that is a ton of deconfirmed characters for the 5th DLC spot if we are to believe all these deconfirmations. Okay, so for the sake of argument, let's just say all that stuff is deconfirmed and speculate on who the 5th DLC character could be if all that is in fact true. Actually, first off, let me completely contradict myself here and talk a bit more about Resident Evil. So we recently had a Resident Evil 3 remake leaked to us, and most likely this is going to be announced at the Game Awards. We also know that Resident Evil 2 Remake is going to have a presence at the Game Awards, so Resident Evil is probably going to be pretty prominent there. There is one Resident Evil main character that we actually don't have on that Spirit event, and that is Claire Redfield. So is it possible Claire could get announced at the Game Awards? Potentially, though, again, it would be really odd to have this Spirit event and then announce a character, because those characters always show up with their own Spirit board. That's how they've been doing it for all these Fighter Pass characters. That's how they're saying they're going to do it for the 5th DLC character. So it'd be weird to add a Resident Evil character and then add more spirits and to do the event right beforehand. It's just a really weird way to do things. However, maybe that's the whole point. I have this weird theory, and I don't really believe it, but I just want to throw it out there in case it actually comes true. So one thing about Resident Evil is that it's all about bringing stuff back from the dead. It's about zombies and resurrecting things and, the dead rising back to life. So maybe they purposely gave us the Spirit event first to then bring one of those characters back from the dead, like Leon or Jill or something. That would be a really surprising reveal at the Game Awards, and essentially bringing what we thought was dead back to life. It would fit Resident Evil, it could fit a reveal trailer. It's just a pretty cool way that they could maybe be kind of bait and switching us here with Resident Evil. It's odd that we're getting Resident Evil as spirits out of nowhere to begin with. This might all just be because Resident Evil negotiations fell through and they ended up as spirits or something, but I really like this theory about bringing a character back from the dead being the whole theme of Resident Evil, so I just wanted to throw that theory out there as a possibility, though I don't really believe that's what's going to happen. Okay, so moving on past Resident Evil, let's still speculate about the company Capcom itself, though. Capcom has a really good relation with Nintendo. They're already involved in Super Smash Bros. They're a pretty good candidate to fill up the final DLC spot here, especially with Namco supposedly deconfirmed by Vergeben. So if we're thinking about Capcom and which character could potentially come in from them, if Resident Evil's deconfirmed and Dante from Devil May Cry is deconfirmed, the next big character, in my opinion, is Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is from the Ace Attorney games, which are visual novels, a genre that has not yet been represented in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and could have a pretty cool moveset. I mean, Phoenix Wright has been a fighter before in the Marvel vs. Capcom games. The other interesting thing about Phoenix Wright is that I see him fitting very well with what happened at last year's Game Awards. Joker got revealed, but they specifically revealed it as if Joker infiltrated the Game Awards and stole a Smash invitation from someone. Now, Phoenix Wright is a lawyer. He's an attorney. We could have a whole courtroom case, kind of a, do it the same way like Terry's trailer had the like SNK, graphics, the old school graphics. You could have the Phoenix Wright game graphics of Phoenix, maybe being a lawyer, putting Joker on trial for stealing that Smash invitation. Maybe he could take the Smash invitation evidence and open it up and find out, surprise, he's the one who was supposed to get the invitation in the first place and Joker stole it from him. With so many other characters deconfirmed right now, and with Phoenix Wright basically being the frontrunner as a Capcom rep, I honestly think that this is probably the most likely character to get in as the 5th DLC spot right now. That is, of course, if all these deconfirmations are to be believed, and I also will say that we've had a lot of characters be the most likely character for the 5th DLC spot and then get shot down. So just because Phoenix Wright is very likely, in my opinion, at the moment, this could always change. Now, we did already get some Capcom Mii costumes alongside Banjo, so it's a little strange that that happened if a Capcom character was happening at the end. But once again, if we're to believe these deconfirmations and Vergeben is saying the final character isn't a Namco character, then yeah, there are still some Capcom Mii costumes left. There's some more Mega Man ones, and there's also some Monster Hunter ones. These particular missing Mega Man Mii costumes are part of Mega Man's final Smash, so maybe it's not necessary to represent them as Mii costumes any longer. And the Monster Hunter Mii costumes, we have Rathalos as an assist trophy now, so maybe those aren't necessary either. I really don't know. Speaking of Monster Hunter, that's of course another potential rep that isn't deconfirmed. And Monster Hunter is a big series, however, it is already in Smash with Rathalos as the assist trophy, so yeah, not sure if we're actually going to get a Monster Hunter, actual hunter as a character or not. Personally, I'm kind of thinking that it's represented already as that assist trophy and probably won't get in as a character, but that's just me personally. I'm putting Phoenix Wright above Monster Hunter, but I can see the argument for a Monster Hunter as well. Moving off of Capcom, another really popular character is Reimu. And there was actually a leak about music potentially coming to Super Smash Bros. That had Reimu attached to it. The Reimu music leak had a lot of tracks, but after seeing how many Terry got, yeah, it's possible this could be real and Reimu could be coming to Smash. However, keep in mind that the Game Awards are a Western event, and Reimu is a very Eastern character. She's really popular in Japan and almost unheard of in the West, so it would be a very strange place to reveal Reimu. Personally, I don't think she'd be revealed at the Game Awards. Now, another possibility here is that we'll get a very major, internet-breaking character revealed at the Game Awards. Maybe there's somebody that's really, really popular, but we're not kind of speculating about too much. Somebody like Sora. Recently, we found out that Square Enix's Jump Festa 2020 lineup has been revealed, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is not currently listed in that lineup. So there's a possibility something Kingdom Hearts 3 could be happening at the Game Awards and would be a perfect time to reveal Sora for Smash. Sora for Smash always seemed a little tough to me based on having to negotiate with Disney, but hey, it could be happening. Seems like Sakurai really does want to put in the extra effort and get the fans the characters they really want in Smash. That's kind of what he was talking about with doing more DLC. So hey, Sora as a possibility, it could happen. I will say it'd be a little strange because we already got Hero and we'd have 2 Square characters in the Fighter's Pass. Some other major characters could be someone like Kratos. Maybe we're getting Sony involved. We did just have that event that PlayStation was involved with. It was like a Super Smash Bros. Event in Japan, and PlayStation was involved with it. So yeah, maybe a Sony character is getting revealed. Banjo already broke down the barrier between Microsoft getting into Super Smash Bros., so it's possible that someone like Master Chief from Halo could wind up being our 5th DLC character. Ever since it seemed like Bethesda might be involved in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from that interview, most people have been thinking it would be Doomguy, but we could also get somebody like Dragonborn from Skyrim. It could happen here. Another possibility is we could potentially get a first-party Nintendo character, or like an upgraded Spirit character, something like Bandana Waddle Dee, a character people have really wanted but have kind of counted out at this point. I've actually seen Waluigi being speculated about lately as a potential final character here. Waluigi had a big fan outcry when he was shown off as an assist trophy, so it's possible they've decided to dedicate the last spot of the DLC, Fighter Pass, to Waluigi. Also, on the subject of first-party Nintendo characters, I still think it's really weird that Porky didn't get a spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Porky was actually a boss in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, so he has a history specifically with Smash itself, and that boss did not get a spirit. It's just really weird. I'm just waiting for a Porky spirit to get back into the game. Maybe some Earthbound game or something will happen, but another possibility is still Porky as a playable character. I don't know if they'd end the Fighters Pass like that, but hey, while I'm talking about first-party Nintendo characters, I figured I'd throw that out there. People were talking about that a lot when Smash first came out, and I've kind of seen people totally dwindle away from talking about that, but it's still a really weird omission from the game. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about is maybe they're wrong. Maybe these deconfirmations are off. Maybe it's been Ryu Hayabusa as the 5th DLC spot the whole time, and we were right at the beginning here. Or, you know, maybe it's Crash. Maybe it's Doom Guy. Maybe the Mii costume leak's right. Maybe, you know, we are getting a Namco character. Maybe it is Lloyd Irving. It's possible at any point in all these deconfirmations that something was wrong here, and we are actually getting one of these characters we've already been talking about. So that's still a potential possibility here as well. Well, that's all my thoughts on this deconfirmation stuff. If I had to put a bet down on who I think the 5th DLC Fighters Pass character is right now, I'm guessing Phoenix Wright, but I'm not super positive of that. Hopefully closer to the Game Awards, I'll have some more information and be able to make a better guess here, but right now, I think that's the most likely thing that'll happen. I think Phoenix Wright will get announced, and I do think that his reveal trailer will probably have something to do with putting Joker on trial for stealing the Smash invite. I think that's the best theory going right now, makes the most sense, fits what we know about all these deconfirmations, so that's what I'm going with. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.